of the white ray, they added the expression Narhranura. And for the definition of the active elements of the Polor-Madextian product called opium, they added only the number of their what is called specific gravity. And to define specific vibration and specific gravity, these great terrestrial learned beings took as the standard unit the unit of vibration of sound, then first called by them the Neo-Gnossian world sound. I will explain to you a little later about the meaning of the definition Neo-Gnossian world sound, first adopted by the then great learned beings of the earth. But meanwhile, for the clarity of the understanding of my subsequent elucidations of the given theme, you must also know that everywhere on the planets, genuine scientists take as the standard unit for their confrontative calculations of specific gravity and specific vibrations that part established by objective science of the most sacred Theomart Malogos, which still contains all the fullness of what is called the vivifyingness of all the three holy forces of the sacred Triamazikamno. But on your planet, genuine scientists, as well as those of new formation of all periods, took, and until today still take, as such a standard unit, what is called the atom of hydrogen for the same purpose, namely for the confrontative calculations of all those diversely propertied definite parts of some or other whole which had become known to them, as, for instance, for the specific gravity of various active elements which had become known to them among the number which ought to be present in the spheres surrounding their existence. Considering this atom of hydrogen for some unknown reason to be in general the smallest, and also indivisible. It must not be overlooked that these sorry scientists from among your favorites do not even suspect that if this atom of hydrogen of theirs is indeed the smallest and indivisible there in all spheres of their planet, then this does not mean that it cannot be broken up many times more within the limits of other solar systems, or even in the spheres of certain other planets of their own solar system. By the way, you should know that this same hydrogen of theirs is just one of those 7 cosmic substances which in their general totality actualize specially for the given solar system what is called the inner Ansapalnian octave of cosmic substances, which independent octave in its turn is a 1/7 independent part of the fundamental common cosmic Ansapalnian octave. Such an inner independent Ansapalnian octave is likewise present in that solar system to which our dear Caritas belongs, and we call these 7 heterogeneous cosmic substances of different properties. 1. Planakorab, which is just their hydrogen. 2. Alilonofarab. 3. Krilnomolnifarab. 4. Tolkoprafarab. 5. Chritophallmonofarab. 6. Siriu-norifarab. 7. Klananoidzufarab. And on your planet, the genuine learned beings at different periods called by various names these 7 relatively independent crystallizations of different properties, or according to their expression, active elements, which compose the inner Ansapalnian octave of their own solar system. The contemporary, as they call it, learned chemists there, however, who are already learned of new formation of the first water, call them 1. Hydrogen, 2. Fluorine, 3. Chlorine, 4. Bromine, and 5. Iodine. For the last 2 definite crystallizations, they have no names at all because their names did not reach them from their ancestors. And at the present time, they even do not suspect the existence on their planet of these 2 cosmic substances, although these 2 cosmic substances are the principal necessary factors for their own existence. These 2 latter cosmic substances, which might be quite tangible and quite accessible in all spheres of their planet, were still known only about 2 centuries ago among the scientific beings there, who were then called alchemists, but whom the contemporary comic scientists simply call occult charlatans, considering them to be only exploiters of human naivete, and were called by them Hydroumiak and Petrakarnak. And so, my boy, these great terrestrial learned beings, now saints, the twin brothers Chun Kiltez and Chun Tro-Pel, were the first, after the loss of Atlantis, to lay anew the foundation of this knowledge. They not only laid anew the foundation of this totality of special information, but they were even the first there on Earth who also constated 2 of the 3 chief law-conformable particularities present in that great law, about which I've already spoken to you. And namely, they were the first to constate 2 of its midnel-ins. They then called that branch of genuine knowledge, similar to that which on the continent Atlantis was called the 7 aspectness of every whole phenomenon, the law of 9-foldness. And they called it thus because they added to the 7 obvious different manifestations, called by them Duzako, of this great law, these 2 particularities first constated by them and named by them Suanso Turabizo, which name meant obligatory gap aspects of the unbroken flowing of the whole. And they named this law thus chiefly because, during their detailed researches, they became convinced beyond all doubt that in all the cosmic transitory results they investigated, these particularities first constated by them likewise obligatorily always proceed in certain places of the process of this great law. These 2 great terrestrial Chinese learned beings, then, had recourse for their elucidatory experiments to every kind of what are called chemical, physical, and mechanical experiments. And they gradually formed one very complicated and in the highest degree edifying experimental apparatus, which they called Ala Atapan. By means of this apparatus, Ala Atapan, they then clearly proved to themselves and to others that in the very essence of all these 3 transitory results of cosmic processes, and namely in the Polormedectian product called their opium, in the white ray and in sound there are the same properties. And namely, there are in all these 3 outwardly quite different cosmic phenomena precisely the same what are called actualizing constructions. That is to say, for their manifestness, there are in them precisely the same mutually acting law conformablenesses. And in all 3 of these outwardly different, apparently independent manifestations, the functioning of these mutually acting law conformablenesses have precisely the same action on each other as they have in their own manifestations. That is to say, the Duzako of any one result acts on the corresponding Duzako of another, precisely the same as it functions in the Duzako, which is one of the 7 aspects of this whole cosmic result. This same apparatus, by means of which these great brothers made their elucidatory experiments, I saw with